So, you want to get into Ultimate Katana and Bad Game on Roblox. Well, today I'm going to go over every single feature and aspect that this game has to offer. Hello everyone, welcome to Ultimate Katana and Bad Game on Roblox. This is a newly released combat game. I am a developer for the game, and today I'm going to go over everything that this game has to offer, down to every weapon, feature, mechanic, and anything and everything that you need to know to play the game. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let's go over player customization. This is the shop tab, and so this is basically everything here you can use to customize your player avatar. You have faces, accessories, you can equip up to 2. You have shirts, skins, and then you have featured items that come in and out of the shop at developers' will. So, karma and tickets, there are tickets and karma in this game. Tickets are the premium currency, karma is the normal currency, although these can both be equally earned for playing games and just overall just winning matches, playing through matches. So, they're not too hard to get. And this is what happens when you buy an item. The X button's up here, and you can exit out. Additionally, you can buy currency, you can buy passes, just cosmetic, there's no buffs or anything, and you can donate to the game. Next, let's look at the customization tab. So here is where you can basically customize everything and anything about your avatar. So I just bought those paper shades, and I can go ahead and put them on. As you can see, I already have accessories equipped, so I can opt to take something off to put those on, and I will. I can even change my skin. I'm going to change it to this, Alpine Frost, and you can change your face and stuff too, something like that. There's also all sorts of funny t-shirts in this game. I think I'm going to stick with this one, but there's some great ones. Actually, no, I'm going to stick with this one. Alright, next. Okay, the weapons tab. So, there's katanas and bats in this game. Currently, right now, there is 30 variants, 15-15 equal split. And so you start off with the basic weapons, which I will cover here in the gameplay part of this video. But basically, there is variants for each of these. Legendary variants are loosely related to the base item, but have entirely different models, and most of them are just based off old Roblox tools. Like Wind Force, there's also a Crucible. For the bat, there's a guitar, and there is a battle axe. So let's go over this here. There are things like the flaming bat and flaming katana here. But there are also unique things like the armored bat. The katanas don't have an armored katana. And there is the, let's see, floral katana. There is no floral bat. So there are duplicate variants, and then there are solo variants, meaning that duplicate variants have a one-to-one copy on the other side. So flaming katana, flaming bat, icy katana, icy bat. Leeched bat, leeched katana. But armored bat, floral katana. Sweeping katana, shock bat. In this tab here, you can also additionally see here information about the weapon, all the in-depth stats you would need, and over here abilities, and for most of them what they do. Needler, burst, shockwave. On this spike bat you can see everything it does. So this is where you get all your information. For bats, there's also info on the block, and for katanas there's info on the parry. Pretty cool stuff. Additionally here, if you don't have the weapon unlocked, it'll tell you what you need to unlock it, and once you unlock it here, it's going to cost karma for you to buy it, and then you can equip it. Contracts. Let's go over this really quickly, and I'll show them off more in game later. Contracts are basically perks that you can buy in the game. They last the entire round, and you buy them here in the contract menu. They cost 100 karma each, and they require a kill to activate their effects. They have a very unique sort of positive buff, and then a very unique negative buff. So they're very counteractive. Example, Vampirism. Every hit landed grants 4 HP, and every second vanquish grants an additional 15 siphon, but damage taken reduces your max health to 75 at the lowest. So you kind of see the gist from just that. You can buy any of these. They wear off at the end of the match. There's even a game mode that just gives you them randomly. Leaderboard. There's a leaderboard to check all sorts of things. This is the testing server, so these are not accurate. for example, I have 100 hours of play. There's settings, all sorts of settings here. Music settings are pretty in-depth. You can do anything you want. You can turn on or off songs for rotation, and you can even play them currently here if you really want to listen to a certain song. So I'll turn on a certain song if I can find it. We'll play this song. I like this song more. I'm gonna play this song. You can turn on or off the music UI. You can raise the volume. There's also things here such as tips, camera shake, low graphics mode, and turning on dead ragdolls. Lastly, here's the career tab. This thing just shows you pretty much every statistic that in the game that we have to offer. Abilities, playtime, matches played, grabs, knockoffs, podium wins, slashes, damage blocked, hits landed, parries, home runs, full kills, health regenerated, bleed applied, stun applied, freeze applied, and burn applied. Yep, all of those. Okay, let's start here with the Katana. And here you noticed here that when we load in the game, these little cards flip onto your screen. Holy, that's really cool, right? Well, now's not the time to kind of sit around. You gotta pick one of these. And so on devices like console that don't have these options, you can just press on these. There's little buttons that appear, but yeah, so you have to hold down the mouse button corresponding to the card. For me, I think the pushback seems the best. Headshot knockback increased by 40%, but these come in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and they are permanent buffs that last until the end of the round. You get a new perk every life, and I'll show a little bit more about perks as we go along, but that's what you need to know for now. So there we go. I have unlocked the pushback perk. I already have a perk on. This is an evolution. Just ignore it. Alright. Let's navigate the HUD here. Vending machine. I have a vending machine. This little vending machine icon signifies that I can use the vending machines over there, which I will go into in a second. Health. So you have health in this game, and this little purple thing is your overheal. You can gain overheal on some certain variants and from certain items. It's basically just health on top of your health. And then you have stamina. Stamina is really mechanical in this game. It's very punishing, and so every time you do something, such as here, I have a dodge ability. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to dodge. Okay. Costs 3 stamina, and your stamina slowly regenerates. So I'll go a little more into stamina values, but when you run out of stamina, you can't perform certain actions, and attacking is slowed. So yeah, stamina is going to go ahead and make you play a little smarter. This little bar here is your ultimate charge. Go over that a little bit more in a minute. You can see your tools on this side, your streak and match vanquish is here, the map, the mode, and the time remaining. By the way, matches are only 6 minutes long. This is just for testing. And over here too, you have a grab ability. I want to show that off really quick. This is an anti-movement ability because there's a lot of movement in this game. Get over here! Temporarily stuns players and forces them to come over here. So yeah, very, very cool. There's a lot more that we're going to go into depth about those. Oh, and there's double jumping. You might see that here, double jump. You can double jump. Jumping is on a 0.75 second cooldown, and double jumping is on, I think, a 3-second cooldown. Maybe it's about 2.5. Okay, so vending machines. I have this vending machine thing. I want to go use it. Step on it, wait for it to turn orange, and it gives you an item. Usually they shake this, the one on this map is a little messed up, so ignore that, but it gives you a random item. There's a lot of items. I'll probably go into depth on them, but I might not. I'll only cover some of the important ones because a lot of these items will be kind of fluctuating in and out of the game through this beta stage, so you know, who knows. But when you equip this thing, a little orb rotates around you, and when someone gets too close, it'll zap them and it'll make them more vulnerable to enemy attacks. Pretty cool. Alright. It's time to use this basic katana here. So let's go over everything here. We have an attack, a parry, a slash, and a heal. Pretty simple here, actually. Attack 1, attack 2, and the third attack is like a swing. It drains stamina, 7 per hit on the katana, although it changes from variant to variant and from weapon, so you gotta keep close eye on that, but yeah. Okay, so let's hit someone here. So the base damage in this game is 15. This is from a recent change actually here, where I nerfed all damage values and then increased attack speed, so that things kind of, the time to kill in this game compared to other Roblox games was really high, so that was changed. But let's go over this here. So that's the basic katana sort of combo that you're gonna see. So that's pretty cool there. It does about half of the health right there, just from 3 attacks. And so I want to show something else off. I have this little gun here that deals damage to you when you touch them. So we're going to touch them a few times. This is the heal. Gives you about 15 HP, and it regenerates in 30 seconds. Pretty cool. And this is the slash. Launches you forward a little bit and sends a projectile out. Okay. And so now with the parry. So parry is universal on every katana. It's very, very important. If I parry regularly, this is what happens. So that time while I was highlighted orange is the time where I can parry something, and it ran out, and now I have a very long 10-second cooldown on my parry. I'm also punished while I'm parrying. I can't double jump while I'm parrying, and I can't really move around much. But if I hit the parry, it reflects the damage back onto the enemy. The parry cooldown is shorter, and you get your walk speed back immediately. So very cool there. There's a lot of gimmicks we'll get into with the parry on certain variants. There's a lot of different slash gimmicks, and there's even some different heal variants. Most katanas have their own special regeneration ability, because Siphon in this game is based on damage dealt, and I think on max kill it's like 25 health. So stamina isn't too rewarding. Sometimes you have to rely on unique healing abilities. This one is basic, but it's also not very good. So that's the basic katana. So let's move on. So let's go over the bat really quick before I go over more katana variants, which I will, because I just want to make things clear. So here we go. Health is at 100. All these stats are the same. This takes 6 stamina for a bat swing, so 1 less than the katana. You have blocking. You can actually block here. It shows it here. And you can charge. You have just your attack. That's it. So this is much less complicated than the katana. The katana has a lot of abilities. This has 2 main functions, but it makes it very strong. So let me show you. On base, this does the same damage as a katana. It does 15. But you can hold it down to charge it. So this is M1, this is M2, this is M3. It's a downward slam, right? So 1, 2, and you can stop it and charge it, and then it overcharges. You get a tip there if you have the tips on, and it'll let go. So your goal as a player is to let the bar and hit the enemy, which basically is an ability itself. If you hit a max charge, it acts as its own ability. Not only does it deal more damage, it will use the max charge ability that's local to whatever variant you're using. What do I mean by that? Basic bat has the home run. This is considered the basic max charge ability. This thing basically just like flings people away and ragdolls them, and plays that home run sound effect. That's the home run on the bat, and I'll be going over more today. Let me take some damage really quick so I can show you guys the block. So this will regenerate my health, but not only will it regenerate my health, let me move around a little crazy, it will also build my stamina back up very slowly, and my health increases. So the basic bat actually has the highest regen rate for a block in the game at 3. Most of them have 2. So there's some specificities that makes the basic bat pretty strong compared to other bats. But that's it for the bat. If you do time your block perfect, I can't show it on this, but if you time your block correctly with an attack, meaning you can only block about every second, so you can't spam this. But if I block right before getting attacked, it will actually stun the enemy for a short second, and this is called a light parry or a perfect block. That's important vocabulary to use because both of them are basically the same thing, and I don't really ever make up my mind about what to call which. So yeah, that's important information to know. Let's go on here and let's look at all the katana variants in this game. Alright, I'm going to be speedrunning some of these because I've already showed off some basic things. Just know here that there's not too much unique with the flaming katana. It has one main purpose, and that is to light enemies on fire. Slash is the same, although hitting the projectile will actually apply the burning effect, or the fire effect that this thing does. There's one ability unique, it's called Flame Tap, and I'll show it off. The parry is also the same, although hitting a parry successfully will apply burn to an enemy. What is burn, you're asking? Get over here! It's very fast, damaging fire that hurts your enemies. Pretty cool. It lasts a while here if you're consistently hitting shots. Although, when you are on fire, you can dash to get rid of the fire. So, just keep that in mind. That's why it lasts so long. If you're not dodging, it will deal much more damage than you want. And let's look at the Flame Tap. So, get over here! Flame Tap ignites your katana in more flames. And not only does it apply burn, it applies hellfire too, which is fire but much worse. And yeah, you can see how much that dealt. So if you're not dashing away immediately after getting hit by this, it is very punishing and very annoying because you're taking a lot of damage and your screen's going to shake a bit. So yeah, that's annoying. It's very annoying. But yes, that is all this katana has to offer. Let's go on to the next one. One little important piece of information that I forgot to mention is that when you're dodging here, your dodge ability is very important. It's not just a basic, dash. You can actually dodge cancel stuns. So stun is applied by every weapon in the game. It locks your controls, and sometimes if you're getting hit by a lot of people or certain abilities, can really lock you up with stuns, and it can be annoying. Dodging breaks your stun at the cost of some stamina, and it in return makes your dodge cooldown last longer, I think 5 seconds. But yes, you can break stuns in this game with your dodge ability, meaning if you get stunned, or if you're dodging and get stunned, it will break the stun for you. And when that happens, there's a temporary moment of vulnerability, and I'll show you what I mean here really quick. Okay, currently I'm stun locked. I'm gonna dash, and it breaks the stun, and you can see here there's a moment of somewhat like invulnerability there. I just thought that was really important to note, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that actually at the end of the initial sequence. So yeah. Okay, Icy Katana, quickly. Unique ability. Cryo freeze. Yep, that's it. It's basically an inverse of the Flaming Katana, so instead of applying burn, it applies freeze. Freeze! Get over here! So you can't move around as fast. It'll slow you down. It's indicated by that little particle effect. And if you actually freeze someone too much, they will get frostburn and start to take damage. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to this variant. Another thing to note is that the cryo freeze ability does not work. I just checked. That is because it's misspelled. I spelled it wrong. But what it does basically is turns you into a block of ice. While you're in that state, you actually take reduced damage and you heal up health and both stamina quite a lot. So like I'm saying, a lot of katanas have their own unique heal ability. This thing keeps its heal, although in the future it will probably lose this ability because Cryo Fuse is already pretty strong, so it doesn't really need another heal ability. But anyways, that's the Icy Katana. Glitched. So this is the glitched katana. Its main function is that it applies a glitched status effect when you use its bomb. This thing is really busted, and it also has the first one that I've shown off that has a parry modification, meaning when you hit your parry, a unique ability will play out. This one is randomness. It'll apply a random status effect to the enemy that you parry. And the bomb, I will show that off. And also the slash is unique. It applies glitch and will projectile there will apply glitch, and it will deal a lot of damage. And it also moves faster than the normal one. This has a heal ability, just a basic one. The parry. Okay. Okay, ignore that. Here's the Yep. And then here is the glitched bomb. Whoops. Here's the glitched bomb. It deals a lot of damage and also applies a status effect. When you are glitched, your attack is slowed. So that is the most important thing to note there, and I'll show you that really quickly. And so here that is. This is your attack speed when you're glitched. It's very slow. Alright, on to the next. Oh man, the Void Katana. Here we are. This one is also very unique. So first things first here, this weapon literally takes no stamina for just basically swinging. It has a heal ability, it has a lift ability here, Tenebris, which means something I forgot when I named it. Means like Dark Rise or something. Cool, right? So the entire gimmick of this is that it basically turns enemies transparent. I'm going to restart this game really quick so I have some more tests to use, but basically that's what it does. Here you see that he kind of like turned into a ghost for a second and took a bunch of damage. That's your whole objective. You can also void tap. This will ghost out everyone, including yourself, in the lobby, which makes it so, like, imagine I'm about to fight this guy and I want to fade him out. It sounds weird. I want to make him invisible, right? I want to use this. I want to hit him with the fade, right? So that he can turn invisible and I can hit him with my weapon and use my gimmick better. You would do that, and it would hit everyone, including yourself, in the lobby, and it would fully transparent him out, and then when you hit him, it'll deal more damage, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain. You have the Void Slash. It moves faster. It also fades out people, and the unique parry effect is it's an automatic fade out too. That's all there is. This one's cool, but I'm gonna restart here so you can fully see the effect of this weapon. So 1 second. I just took a perk that made my health increase. Okay, so this is what it does. Get over here! Dude, and I hit everyone with this ability. Yeah, and that's him taking damage. If you're confused why this guy didn't do it, these two have the same name. I just cloned them, so. Alright. That is the Void Katana. Move on to the next one. So, when I just mentioned that I had the tanky weapon here, here's the beefy perk. I have the tanky on. This is the beefy. This is the evolution perk. You can get evolutions for unlocking certain perks. They just come up randomly. Not every perk has an evolution. This one does, though. It increases your max health by 15, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on. My health is now 150. Alright, and let's show this off here. So the Leech Katana is about some lifesteal, and that's it. Yep, it's about lifesteal. So the Leech Bomb does something pretty unique. When it hits you, it will tether an enemy to the point that the bomb lands for 3 seconds, or it's like a second and a half. It has your normal heal ability, and it has the Haunted Seeker. This is my favorite part, so let me kill this dude. It deals some decent damage, applies some bleed, and it also gives you some lifesteal here. Let me show that off. A little lifesteal is given there, and oh, I just regenerated. This is the Haunted Seeker. And when it hits an enemy, they're fully blinded, and they take just a little damage. That's the Seeker. Pretty cool, and that's all there is to this one. Here's the Illumina Katana. This thing here has all the same stats as the basic Katana, but this one has a little bit different of a gimmick here. The gimmick being that it has this kind of really cool soul spot function. Think of like Valorant's Arena, I guess. So this is the blemish. It drops and it lowers everyone's max health by 25 HP. That's what it does. And that's the only other ability this thing has other than the absorption. Also, it shouldn't... It doesn't even have a heal ability. I don't know why it's there. It has no heal ability. I forgot to remove it from the controls. It doesn't have a heal ability. I'm pressing V. There's no heal ability. And then absorption. So... Oh my God damn it! Okay. I messed that up. When you parry or when you kill someone, you get these soul orbs that drop. They only last like half a second when you do it from parrying, but when you hit your R ability, it will do that. It's like a dismiss in Valorant. And basically I hit R, and if a soul orb's available, it will pick it up for me. It will give me overheal if I'm at max health, or it will heal me if I'm not, and it will also grant me automatic stamina. It's kind of broken. I've really nerfed it, actually, believe it or not, in the past little bit. It's kind of busted, but it's pretty cool, and it's one of my favorite weapons in the game. So, yeah, it does all that. This is the Illumina Katana. So this one here is the Vengeful Katana. This is the first katana I'm showing off that doesn't have a bat counterpart. So this is a single variant, not a double variant. So just keep that in mind here. Everything beforehand has a bat counterpart that I will actually speak about less when I'm going over the bats, unless there's something specific to the max charge. But this is a unique one. This has no bat counterpart. And you will notice that because there's a lot of unique abilities. Oh my God, there's so many. So Envious Cut. This thing, let me first explain the gimmick here. This is a very one-on-one type of katana here. Get over here! For you to 1v1 someone. It does 10 damage only when you hit someone for the first time. But if I hit you again, it does 15. This thing stacks damage up very quickly because there's chain damage in this game, which means if I keep hitting someone, this applies to most weapons, if I keep hitting you, I will deal more damage the next hit, and the next hit, and the next hit. That's available in the settings, or in the weapons tab if you want to check that out. So yeah, okay. Envious Cut. I missed it. Envious Cut. It applies a bunch of bleed. It's a quick little simple cut. And let me just run around here. Let me lose a little stamina. Your sacrifice takes off 10 health of yours, so you can gain some stamina instantly and a 20% damage boost. You can use this all you want. It's really busted that you get this 20% damage boost. The only thing is you're taking a lot of health off of yourself to do so. And there's the Envious Cut, and there's the bleed. It's pretty strong. That is the Envy... Wait, it's not the Envious. Okay. So let me show this off. This is Devour. This is its heal ability. Basically, I use this here, and while I'm highlighted, I either can get a kill or not take any damage, and in return, I am rewarded with health. Now, if you do not get a kill and take damage, you will lose health, and if you do take damage but get a kill, you will still gain health. So, yeah, it allows you to play passively or aggressively. This katana also has its chain damage reset, like katanas in the game. Its chain damage resets when you hit another enemy, so it forces you to focus one main target. This thing kind of sucks when you are fighting multiple people, but it's a demon when you're fighting one person. Also, additionally, this is important to note, its parry applies 50% extra damage, but you gain 50% of the health, or gain 50% less HP when you parry someone. So that's important to note. So this is the Floral Katana. So this thing is another single variant. Nice model. It has 3 abilities, so let's go over that here. So how do I call it here? This thing has a good side, a blossom side, which is pink, and then it has a green side, which is like toxic, poisonous side, right? You channel those using the poisonous bloom, and this will change how both of these abilities play out. So, in normal form, you have the Flourish ability. This thing places flowers that will heal you and you can walk on them. Enemies can't walk on them. Only you can walk on these flowers and you gain health. Pretty cool. Now, if I need a kill to use that again, so I'll show the slash off. The slash actually stays the same depending on the mode. The slash does this and applies poison. Very good. Very, very good. This is what it sounds like. It sounds very cool. And this is what the parry does. Also very cool. So let's go ahead and
get over here!
And let's use this Flourish again, but on the bad side. Ooh, scary flowers. Also, you might have seen the flower tips spawn in on my katana. I forgot to show them off. This also spawns in toxic flowers that you can use to hit enemies, and it will apply more poison. And yeah, so people just take a bunch of damage. You take 5 damage per flower stepped on. So this is more or less like some crowd control here. You can use this to control some spaces. It's a basic ability, but the floral katana is really cool, and so it definitely gets a pass for that. On to the next. Oh my gosh. So the sweeping katana. The katana that has 2 different knockdown abilities. This is crazy. So, sweep. Knocks down enemies that it hits and applies some bleed. Bash. Oh, it's a kick and it just knocks people down. And that's it. There is one important gimmick to this weapon here. So remember how I said chain damage kind of, wears off. If I'm hitting someone, my first hit, 14, second hit, 15, and then that, it actually transfers over to your enemies. So this thing has no chain locking, meaning that you can hit multiple people and the damage will still climb as long as it's within a certain time period. So that's the notable unique function with the katana. It also has, cool abilities, like the bash. Onto the last katana variant. This is my child. This is the Xeno katana. A little loud. Channel, Impervious, and Evoke. What is going on here? So let's explain.
Get over here!
My game is loud. So when you kill enemies, you can spawn in these crystals. When you use this Evoke ability, you can spawn in crystals. Yeah. And so what are these crystals used for? Well, let me take some damage. Which one of you does that? There we go. This one does that. And so let's go ahead, get pretty low, and if I channel, I can siphon the power off of a crystal to gain health and stamina back. Now, if you take damage while that's happening, it will go away. Just important to note. And if I use the Impervious ability, it will siphon the power off one of my crystals, and while I'm grayed out, I actually am invulnerable for a very, very short amount of time. Let's kill this katana naturally applies concussion, which makes it so you can't use abilities. So that's also very good. And I have a crystal up, and I get a 20% damage boost, and this will stack depending on how many crystals you have in terms of time. So yeah, this thing is very, very strong. Let me do it again. 6 seconds now of OP, maybe. Regen 2. Is this overpowered? Probably. Ignore why those stay on the screen. I don't know. But yeah, this is very... Before we dive into the bats here, I just want to show off modifiers. Modifiers are like perks, but souped up really, really strong. So when you have a streak of 4 on your classic game mode, because there is a game mode called Mayhem, which this just changes to getting any kill. But if you're about to get a kill streak of 5, I will get modifiers. So randomly, it's random, but you can get grab or dodge modifiers. You can have one grab, 1 dodge modifier on each round, but it will randomly choose. So I got some grab modifiers. So shadow pull, I got chain, and I got snatch. I'm gonna show you the shadow pull. This is just one of many. I think there's 5 for each right now, and it'll show up here. I have a modifier, and I teleport directly to someone now instead of dragging them slowly over to me. So yeah, very, very cool. If I forgot to mention too, the grab cooldown will reward you. If I grab someone, the cooldown's shorter. If I don't, it's longer, 15 seconds for not 7.5 seconds if you do grab someone. So let's move on to the bat variants. Okay, I'm going to quickly go over these double variants because I already showed you what their abilities do, but I want to show off something else. So, I did not show this off just because it would take a while here, but when you're parrying enemies with these double variants, there is likely a parry effect, and the same applies to these. There is a max charge effect, and it's the same as the parry effect. So,
Get
for
over
the flaming
here!
bat, hitting a max charge applies this really cool burn area, and when you step on it, when enemies step on it, they take more damage. Or more burn. They catch more fire, a lot more fire. So that is what happens on max charges and parries. They're the same thing, but they differ from variant to variant if it's a single variant, and double variants share the same thing. Alright, same thing here. The cryo freeze ability does work. I actually am going to show that off, so let me kill this. Very cool sound effect. The freeze will start dealing damage if too much is applied, by the way. And take some damage here. Turns you into an ice block. Gives you some health. Yeah. And the block is normal. Alright, so the max charge on this one, and the parry effect on the katana, turns the enemy into a fat ice block. That's it. Okay. Leeched. This is the parry effect and max charge. Just some seconds of regeneration. Also, this effect that it applied to them is withered. It's basically just a very... It's basic, but it deals more damage depending on the player's health. That's what it does. Next. Okay, good old Void Bat. Yet again, no stamina. Voids out all enemies. And this is the max charge effect. It basically just automatically voids out an enemy and gives you a little health back. Although, likely when you see this, this will be changed to overheal. It'll probably just grant you a little overheal. Because the leeched bat already, and the leeched katana already do the same thing. So, that will be changed, but that's it for the void bat. Alright, glitched. Same as the katana. There is no slash though. And in return here... Oh my god, I'm getting... So the Illumina does the same thing as the Katana does. It spawns in one of those soul orbs for a very short duration of time. Yep, that's it. Alright, so let's go on to the single variants. Let's start off with the one that's probably not as interesting as the others, but it's still really cool. So the armored bat is the only bat that can't charge. But in return, it has some decent base damage, nothing crazy. And it also has this unique effect where when you hit enemies, it actually applies resistance to yourself. It has a higher stun time, and as you can see here, the resistance will stack pretty quickly. Resistance is a 10% damage negation, so yeah. And the Fortitude ability allows you to apply more resistance to yourself. Not a bad bat by any means. This one is the Devil. This is the Shock Bat. Hitting enemies is custom like the Xeno Katana, meaning they can't use abilities. On max charge, you are supercharged, meaning that when enemies hit you, they are stunned very quickly. And you can use your Jolt ability to gain a temporary speed increase. This is the Shock Bat, and it's very annoying. This one is the one I'm probably most excited to talk about. It's probably the most unique one out of all of these weapons. This is the Spiked Bat. At first, this thing was kind of just like, oh, a bat that applies bleed like the Katana.
Get over here!
It's kind of more than that. I've reworked this weapon recently, and it's very cool now. So, you can use this Needler ability. Makes your weapon look like that. Hit people, and it will spike them. Not only do you apply more bleed damage to enemies that are spiked, but you can use this Burst ability, which will deal a lot of damage, and while this spike is visible, they cannot block or parry. So it's very unique. You can needle people every once in a while, and as you can see, it applies a lot more bleed time to your enemy. You can even do that to their dead body. Very cool. One of my favorite weapons. Oh, I forgot to mention. I almost forgot. Max charge ability picks enemies up. Yep. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, if I thought that if I thought that the Illumina weapons were the demon of this game, this is also just a demon. This is the baseball bat, and it has no abilities, like the normal basic bat, but it has some things. So here you'll notice that block damage, or block power isn't very high, it's at 20. Your stamina drain is only 5, but when you're holding it down, it drains a lot. Like, there's a lot of drain here for your stamina. Other than that, this thing does 15 damage, or sorry, 10.5 damage with no chain damage, so it does not stack, meaning it takes about 10 hits to kill an enemy, which is crazy. Like, wow, that sucks, right? This thing gives you 60 damage on a full charge. 60 damage. The charge multiplier is the highest in the game. 72 damage is the max possible hit on a max charge with a headshot. That is the max damage you can do in one hit, 72, and you can finish someone off easily afterwards with this weapon's little combo. This is one of my favorites, and also it has something here where when your block is broken, it's called batting fever, and it gives you a 20% damage boost temporarily. One of my favorites. Very fun. It's not that I don't like the legendary weapons, but they're definitely very volatile to change. This is the Crucible, though. This is the first legendary weapon we're going to look at. Not only is it absolutely sick in design, but this thing has a hunger bar, and to upkeep it, you have this thing has the longest delay. Pretty painful 0.9 seconds, I think. You can sow, and you can reap, meaning you can collect hunger from nearby enemies at the cost of your own health, and when you sow, you deal damage for hunger to nearby enemies. But that isn't the coolest abilities here. They maintain hunger, sure. This is. Yep, that's pretty broken. These legendary weapons also have unique ultimates, but I won't go over those here and now. I might make a follow-up video or add something at the end here to go over them. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go over the Crucible's ultimate ability. So this thing has a stupidly good ability here. It was recently reworked, and it's a pretty good ultimate ability. It automatically sets your hunger to 100. Do a 35% damage, although you are vulnerable for a few seconds. And there you go. It ends. It's absolutely smackticulous, and you also gain overheal. So you're just absolutely busted while you're in this ultimate. One little thing to keep in mind with the Crucible, I didn't actually mention this, and I'm updating or editing the video now, and I wanted to show it off. So your hunger actually scales your attack damage. This thing deals the most attack damage in the game, but if you're not at max hunger, it's not going to really deal a lot of damage. So just keep that in mind here, and that's why you're actively trying to keep your hunger high, because the less hunger, the less damage your weapon does. Also, additionally, with the ultimate that I'm showing off later in the video, it gives you overheal. I forgot to mention, if you don't get a kill in that ability, you'll lose all your hunger and you lose the overheal too. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so here's the Wind Force, another legendary variant that uses hunger. Same bar, but it doesn't apply to damage. It actually applies to the weapon's knockback. So this one strives itself on weapon knockback. So this is the only katana that doesn't have a parry, but it is worth it. The hunger gain on attack is stronger than the crucible. The wind gust knocks enemies backwards. The uplift lets you rise into the air. It's much stronger than the Tenebris I showed off earlier. And let me show off this ultimate. This is the ultimate. It gathers everyone up in a gust of wind, and you can swing at them while you are up in that gust of wind. It's really good. It's very strong. This is the first bat legendary variant, the Battle Axe. It's my least favorite of the two, so I'm going to show this off quickly. Forge and Warcry kind of work together. You can read more about them, but if you're not using them together, you're not unlocking the weapon's true potential. It's very costly on stamina swings. Its max charge ability does this. It totally locks the player's abilities for a few seconds and will automatically propulse anyone nearby. So it's basically just a huge ass shockwave. Forge and Warcry work together to make you fire on attack. It also increases your attack speed and gives you a 7% damage buff for a few seconds. It also gives you regeneration. Very good when worked together, not so good when worked apart. Because also, some of the attack speed buffs rely on one another. I don't remember, this was made a while ago. But yeah, you can read all about it in the weapon stats page. Alright, here's the ultimate for this one. I'm also not going to show off the ultimate for this one because it's kind of not working right now. It will be by the time that I make it, but I'll just explain it. Basically, it just spawns in 3 little henchmen that will attack enemies for you. It's very cool, and the henchmen are also really awesome. And yeah, that's what it does. Let's go to the next. Oh, the sweet guitar. This is my favorite weapon. Let me just talk about it. This thing is awesome. Max charge here gives you these little shock zones, which when walked through will stun enemies. The Rift ability is absolutely busted, so let me show you that. Let me take some damage here. The Rift ability grants automatic overheal, some regeneration, and a 25% damage boost for a few seconds. Absolutely broken. And this melodic conversion, it does nothing. What the heck, right? Just wait till I use my ability. Wait till I use this ultimate.
I got this!
So, this thing is kind of insane. It gives you a damage boost for a few seconds inside of it. And then you have this melodic thing. Why am I so fast? Why am I rapidly gaining max health? All the time while you're in this ability, you're gaining max health. And to keep this melodic thing going, you're hitting enemies while you're melodic. There's a song that should be playing. It doesn't play sometimes, but just keep that in mind. Dealing damage to enemies, and eventually here, once your max health reaches about 150, you'll start to take damage continuously, and you'll have to keep hitting enemies to keep this going. Okay, so I keep hitting enemies. What if I want this to stop? Because eventually you'll just start taking damage. Let me... Oh god. Okay, I'm out the map. But basically, you can turn the melodic with this into resistance, and your health will reset. Pretty cool. Really cool ability. And yeah, I really love the ultimate. This is one of my favorites. Also, I will show something else off if I can. This has a passive ability. Let me show this off. Right there, it just applies a lot of extra stun after the 3rd hit. If you continuously hit an enemy 3 times in a row, you deal extra stun. Very cool. In my opinion, my favorite legendary variant. I forgot to show these off, so let me show off the basic katana and bat abilities.
Get over here!
So, this is the katanas. This applies to every variant other than legendary variants, and it's called the Enraged Flurry. And you get a quick 20% damage boost and send out a very fast amount of attacks. It's very deadly, and it deals a lot of damage. Here's the bat's ultimate ability. Just know that this thing doesn't auto-kill people. It deals 75 damage. It knocks enemies back very far, and that's the main gist. But also, it dealing 75 damage basically just gives you a free upper hand in most fights, unless your enemy has some crazy skill, or you're crazy bad, or they have some really good abilities, or a really good variant up their sleeves here to retake the fight. You basically win it if you use this ultimate. It's fun, and it's, in my opinion, a little more styled than the Katana one, but the Katana one has its purpose because it's just meant to kill people. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. That is an entire breakdown of everything that this game has to offer. Of course, there is a lot more stuff. There's a lot of maps in this game, a lot of game modes, and a whole bunch of different mechanics and abilities that I will not be able to go into to their fullest of depths. But that is the majority here of stuff that is to cover. So I hope you guys enjoy. This game is linked in the description, including the Discord, any other social links you need. Go ahead, join the Discord, get involved in the community, and have fun swinging or slicing out there, guys.